Very good afternoon to one and all. Please let me know whether my voice is audible and can you see my presentation? Great, great. So in the last practical session, we have conducted one experiment, natural convection. In today's session, we'll go for the next experiment that is nothing but parallel flow and counter flow heat exchanger. Okay. In this particular experiment, we have to understand or we are going to understand the heat transfer phenomenon in parallel flow and counter flow heat exchanger. Okay. So in theory lectures, uh, you learn that the classification of a heat exchanger and then further design analysis of a heat exchanger, then parallel flow, counter flow heat exchanger. Will not go in that particular part in deep. Okay, just take a overview. What is meant by heat exchanger? It is one kind of apparatus or equipment which will exchange the heat from hot fluid to the cold fluid with highly effectiveness or very high efficiency. That particular function of transforming of a heat from hot fluid to the cold fluid will happen in heat exchanger. Okay, so these heat exchangers are classified in a different category, that is nothing but according to the direction, according to the nature, according to the type of fluid present inside the heat exchanger, then according to the design consideration, the type of the flow, the various classifications are there. But according to the direction, the heat exchangers are classified as parallel flow heat exchanger, then counter flow heat exchanger, and cross flow heat exchanger. So out of that, the three types, here we are going to perform the experimentation on two types of a flows. That is nothing but parallel flow heat exchanger and the counter flow heat exchanger. So what is meant by parallel flow heat exchanger? If you see this particular diagram, you'll understood what is meant by parallel flow heat exchanger. So in case of a parallel flow heat exchanger, both the fluids are entered from the same side of a heat exchanger and they are flowing in the same direction. So if you see that the hot fluid is entered uh, through small pipe or the inside pipe, and the cold fluid is entered in a large pipe, as we are considering the concentric tube heat exchanger or tube in tube heat exchanger. So in that case, if you consider that hot fluid is entering from this side and the cold fluid is entering in this side, after entering in the heat exchanger, both the fluid flow direction is having both the fluids are having same direction for the flow. Okay, and at the another end, both the fluids are leaving the heat exchanger. Okay, so if you consider the TH1 and TC1 are the inlet temperature of the parallel flow, and TH2 and TC2 are the outlet temperature of the parallel flow. So in case of a parallel flow, TH1 minus TC1, that will be considered as a theta 1, that is initial temperature difference, and TH2 minus TC2 will be considered as a final temperature difference. Okay, so that will be considered as a theta 2. And if you draw the temperature profile diagram, you can see that both the fluids are miss both the fluid temperatures are changing in a positive x direction. Okay, where the hot fluid temperature is decreasing in positive x direction, and the cold fluid temperature is going to increase in a positive x direction. Okay, so in this type of heat exchanger, the hot and cold fluid flow in the same direction. Hence, the name parallel flow exchanger. Okay, the temperature difference between the hot and cold fluids keep on decreasing from entry to exit. Many devices such as water heaters, oil heaters, and coolers belongs to this class. Okay, so there are many applications. So some of that are heater, oil heater, coolers, and in this application, this parallel flow type of heat exchangers are used. Whereas the counter flow heat exchanger, if you consider this particular diagram for the counter flow heat exchanger, then you'll come to know that the hot fluid is entering from this side. Okay, so TH1 temperature we have provided in this diagram on this side, whereas the cold fluid is entering from the opposite side. Okay, and both the fluids are flowing opposite to each other. Okay, so because of that, we are saying it as a counter flow heat exchanger. Okay, both the fluids are flowing opposite to each other. Okay, so where the hot fluid entry for the heat exchanger is there, on that side cold fluid is leaving the heat exchanger, and where the cold fluid entry for the heat exchanger is there, on that side the hot fluid is leaving the heat exchanger. Okay, so in case of a counter flow heat exchanger, the theta 1 or the initial temperature difference will be considered as Th1 minus Tc2, and theta 2 will be considered as Th2 minus Tc1. Okay, so that is the basic difference between the parallel flow heat exchangers and the counter flow heat exchangers. So if you check this particular temperature profile diagram for the counter flow heat exchanger, so theta 1, you come to know that the hot fluid temperature is decreasing in x direction. Also the cold fluid is temperature is also decreasing in positive x direction. Okay, if you consider the positive x direction. Okay, so in a negative x direction the cold fluid temperature is increasing. Okay, and you have to show the appropriate arrows to identify whether the heat exchanger is parallel flow heat exchanger or the counter flow heat exchanger. Okay, so in this heat exchanger hot and cold fluids flows in opposite direction to each other, hence the name counter flow. Counter flow heat exchanger is the most favorable heating or cooling of a fluid because for given surface area this exchangers gives the minimum heat transfer rate. Okay, for particular surface area in a, if you consider the same heat exchanger for the parallel flow and the counter flow, and in that case you will get the same surface area for the for both the flow arrangement, and in that case for same surface area you will get the maximum heat transfer rate in case of counter flow heat exchanger. Okay, in case of counter flow heat exchanger as compared to parallel flow heat exchanger. So about our experimentation, we required some observation, that is nothing but we have to consider one concentric tube heat exchanger. Actually the diagram of that particular actual heat exchanger is not with me, but we will see directly that particular actual experimentation after some time. But initially the observations we what we are required, uh, that is nothing but diameter of inner tube and the length of each tube. So that will provide you the surface area. Okay, so pi dl, that will be the surface area, and the calculations are on the basis of inner surface area. Okay, so inner tube diameter is provided, so we have to consider all the calculation on the basis inner surface area. Okay, a suffix I, so that will require you for the calculation of overall heat transfer coefficient, that is nothing but U. Okay, so further we are going to take the observations for the parallel flow arrangement and the counter flow arrangement. So in that case you required mass flow rate. For the final result you required the mass flow rate of a cold fluid and the hot fluid, and the thermocouple readings, that will be for the hot fluid inlet temperature, hot fluid outlet temperature, cold fluid inlet temperature, cold fluid outlet temperature. We are having 5 thermocouples. So in one case we required T1 to T4 thermocouple, and in another case that is nothing but counter flow arrangement. For the counter flow arrangement we required, instead of T4 we required T5 thermocouple. So T1, T2, T3 are the common thermocouples in case of a parallel flow arrangement, whereas in counter flow arrangement instead of a T4 we required a T5 thermocouple. Okay, then if you take the readings for the temperatures, then and you have readings for mass flow rate for the hot and cold fluid, then you can calculate the log mean temperature difference, that is nothing but LMTD. But here I have written formula for LMTD. But if both theta 1 and theta 2 are same, then we have to use the L'Hospital rule. And in that case, we have to consider theta m as a theta, that is nothing but temperature difference between the hot fluid, temperature difference, inlet and outlet temperature difference. Then if you get this ratio theta 2 to theta 1 or theta 1 to theta 2 less than 1.7, in that case we have to go for the AMTD, that is arithmetic mean temperature difference. And in that case we have to take the average temperature, average of theta 1 and theta 2, that you know very well. We have discussed these cases in LMTD for the special cases. Okay. Then if once you determine this logarithmic mean temperature difference, then you can calculate next point, that is nothing but rate of heat transfer. You have mass flow rate for the hot fluid. Then the CP value for the water is the given quantity, and you have taken the readings for inlet and outlet temperature for cold fluid and hot fluid. So then you can directly calculate the Q. Then further, once you know the Q, then you can calculate and theta m, then you can calculate the overall mean, overall temperature, overall heat transfer coefficient. Then you can calculate overall heat transfer coefficient. Okay, that is nothing but U, and you know that Q is equal to U multiplied by A multiplied by theta m. So on the basis of that basic formula, you can calculate the overall heat transfer coefficient, that is nothing but U is equal to Q divided by A multiplied by theta m. So in this case, A will be A suffix I, that will be the inner surface area or the inner tube surface area. Okay, A suffix I we have to consider as inner tube surface area, and on that basis only we have to calculate the overall heat transfer coefficient. So initially we want this particular readings for the calculation purpose, and we'll get these readings by after experimentation only. Okay, so within short time I will arrange the experimentation, so be online, and I will stop presentation from here. So meanwhile you can draw this particular chart. Okay, observation table. Okay, so mass flow rate you required for the cold fluid and the hot fluid, then thermocouple readings. Okay, so if you want to take one, two, three readings, then there is no problem. And if you want to take only one reading after some time, then also no problem. Okay. झालं. हा. शशिकांत सर, झालं. Okay, so we have to take the readings for parallel flow arrangement and counter flow arrangement. So you can draw these tables. Okay, simple tables are there. Okay, now I will stop presentation from here, and so that I can present the experimentation.
Yes. Complete this localization.
Okay, so this is our parallel counterflow heat exchanger apparatus. Okay, now here you can see that the woolen is coated over here over that particular pipe, and this is our concentric tube heat exchanger. Okay, so here you can see at one end, so one pipe is passing through large pipe. So this is the smaller pipe, smaller diameter pipe you can see here. So this smaller pipe will carry the hot fluid, okay, and the larger pipe will carry the cold fluid. Okay. Now here is somewhat difficult arrangement for this parallel and counterflow heat exchanger. Okay. Initially, if you want to make this heat exchanger as a parallel flow heat exchanger, so in that case, if you consider that the hot fluid is moving in this direction only, okay, the hot fluid is moving in this direction only. Then, if you want to make this arrangement as a parallel flow arrangement, in that case, the cold fluid is also moving in this direction only. Okay, the cold fluid should also move in this direction only. Okay, so for that reason, now here the main entry of the water is at this location. Okay, this is the junction where the cold water enters. Now, the half of the water is transported on the backside of this instrument. Okay, on the backside of this instrument, and it will be connected. This line is connected to the heater. So you can see here on the backside. On the backside, the heater is placed. Okay, and one of the connection is provided to the heater so that the heater will generate the hot water. Okay, and this particular generated hot water is provided through this particular pipe. It is provided to the inner tube. Okay, and hot water is flowing through the inner tube. Okay, here is the entry on this side. The hot water entry is there, and on another side. Okay, and another side on this location, you can see here is the exit of that particular hot water, and we have kept the exit in this particular wash basin. Okay, in this particular wash basin. So you can see here the hot water is coming out from one pipe and the cold water is coming out from another pipe. Okay, now further the next connection is provided. So here at this particular junction, one connection is provided on the back side of the this particular apparatus, and which is connected to the hot water generation or the heater. And the another connection you can see here, these two connections are, one is traveling in this direction and one is traveling in this direction. Okay, now there are two knobs are provided. On this side one knob is provided, and on this side one knob is provided. Okay, when we open this knob, okay, when we open this knob and close the entry of water, which will travel in this direction. Okay, we have closed this exit of that particular knob, and we have opened this knob. Okay, and we have closed this knob. Okay, ही काय केलंय, क्लोज केलेलं आहे. अपोजिट साइडचं क्लोज केलेलं आहे, ह्या साइडचं ओपन केलेलं आहे, ह्या साइडचं पाणी जाण्याचा मार्ग बंद केलेला आहे, आणि ह्या साइडचा पाणी जाण्याचा मार्ग ओपन केलेला आहे. त्यामुळे काय होईल, what will happen, the water will travel in this direction. Okay, it will enter inside this particular large pipe. Okay, or the outer pipe. Okay, and it will travel in this direction. Okay, in this direction. So here what will happen, if this knob will open, then water will exit from this side, but we want to transfer the water over the surface area of inside pipe. So for that reason, we have to close this knob, and then only when water will enter at this location, it will travel in this direction, and it will leave the heat exchanger at this particular point where this knob we have opened up. Okay, where this knob we have opened up. Now this is the arrangement of a parallel flow heat exchanger. Where the hot fluid is flowing in this direction only, the hot fluid is flowing in this direction only, and cold fluid is also flowing in this direction only. Okay, and for that reason we have to open up this knob, close the exit of water from this side, so that water will flow in this direction and the cold water will exit from that side, but hot water is always flowing in this direction only. Okay,
Now, if you want to make this arrangement for the counter flow heat exchanger, in that case, once again, we are at this particular junction. Okay. Now, water is flowing in this direction. So we have to make it the counter flow. Now, the arrangement is parallel flow arrangement and we have to make it counter flow arrangement. So in that case, we have to close this knob so that water will not flow in this direction. Okay. We have to close this knob so that water will not flow in this direction and water will flow in this direction, and we have to open up this knob. Okay, open up this knob, and then we have to close the exit of water from this side. Okay, we open this knob and we have closed the exit of, or we have closed the exit of water from this side, so that water will flow in this direction. Okay, cold water will flow in this direction, and it will enter over here, it will come over here, and then we will open this particular knob. So in that case, what will happen? The hot water direction we are not changing. The hot water direction is in this direction only, and the cold water flow will be in opposite side. Okay, the cold water flow will be in the opposite side. So that will be our counter flow arrangement. That will be our counter flow arrangement. And in that case, we have to consider the reading. Now here you can see here the wires you can see. So these are the thermocouples. Okay, the first thermocouple is located over here. Okay, and that will measure the temperature of a hot water. That will measure the inlet temperature of a hot water. Okay, and second one is T2. T2 thermocouple is placed over here. Okay, another side at the exit of hot water. The T2 thermocouple is placed over here, and that will be the outlet temperature of a hot water. That will be a outlet temperature of a hot water. In a similar fashion, T3 thermocouple is provided on this side. Okay, T3 thermocouple is provided on this side, and T4 the T3 thermocouple is placed at this particular location. Okay, so that will measure the cold water entry. Okay, at the junction only we have provided the T3 thermocouple, and which will measure the cold water inlet temperature. Okay, cold water inlet temperature. Now, in case of a parallel flow arrangement, okay, parallel flow arrangement, cold water inlet temperature will be this one, T3, and the cold water outlet temperature we have to consider as a T4, okay, which is located over here. Okay, this is the T4 thermocouple. Now, if you make this arrangement as a counter flow arrangement, in that case, we should not measure the temperature of T4 thermocouple. We have to measure the temperature at another location. Okay, another location. So this is the T5 thermocouple, which will measure the outlet temperature of cold water in case of a counter flow heat exchanger. In case of a counter flow heat exchanger. Okay, so first of all, we have made arrangement for the parallel flow heat exchanger here. Now the water, we have connected the inlet line to the tap, and the water is entering at this location. Okay, and out of that water, some of the water is transferred on the back side through this particular knob. Here you can see that through this knob we have transferred some of the water in the heater, so that water will get heat up, and that entry will be provided to this particular pipe. Okay. Okay, and second arrangement is for the cold water, and this knob is open up. Okay, this knob is open up, so water will flow in this direction, and this knob is closed. So the exit of water from this side will be closed over here. So the water will travel in this direction, and so we can say that the cold water and hot water direction will be same, and that will be the parallel flow arrangement. Okay. And this type of arrangement is called as a tube and tube heat exchanger. Okay, here you can see that one tube is placed in another tube, and through inner side tube the hot water is flowing, and through outer side tube the cold water is flowing. So now here we have to consider the reading for parallel flow arrangement. Okay, so first of all, we can take the temperature reading. Okay, directly from first reading only you can take the temperature reading. Okay, so T1. Now here you can see that the knob is placed on T1. Okay, this is the temperature indicator, and it is placed on T1. T1 temperature is 27.2 degrees Celsius. Okay, anyone is there? So Shraddha, take the readings. T1 temperature, Shraddha is there? Sachin, Shraddha, anyone reply? Okay, so take the readings T1 for parallel flow arrangement. You can give heading as parallel flow arrangement to distinguish two different readings. So T1 is 27.3 degrees Celsius. Okay, so that will be the hot water inlet temperature T1. Then next T2. T2 you take 25.8. Okay, T2 is 25.8. That will be the hot water outlet temperature. Okay, then T3 is the cold water inlet temperature. T3 is the cold water inlet temperature, and it is equal to 22.6. 22.6. 22.6. Then T4, in case of a parallel flow arrangement, we have to consider the reading for T4. Okay, now T4 is 23.4. T4 is the outlet cold fluid outlet temperature. T4 is the cold fluid outlet temperature. Okay, cold fluid outlet temperature. Getting everyone? Okay, so T5 we will not take for the parallel flow arrangement. It is the exit temperature for cold fluid when we have made the arrangement for counter flow heat exchanger. So first four readings we have taken as T1 as cold hot fluid inlet temperature, T2 as hot fluid outlet temperature, T3 as cold fluid inlet temperature, and T4 as cold fluid outlet temperature. Okay, these four readings we required for the calculation of parallel flow arrangement. Next, you need to take the mass flow rate. Okay, most important, you need to take the mass flow rate. So there is no sufficient arrangement for the calculation of mass flow rate, but we can take the mass flow rate by using the outlet water. Okay, by measuring the outlet water, requirement is that you should have one beaker. You required one beaker, and by using the stopwatch, you can calculate the mass flow rate. Okay, so count here. So what we'll do, we'll check that how much time is required to fill 400 ml water. Okay, 400 ml beaker. Okay, how much time required? व्यवस्थित धरा 400 ml ची reading तेवढी check करा. So 400 ml beaker is there, and how much time required to fill that particular beaker for hot water? Okay, we are checking for the hot water outlet, and we are taking the readings for the same. Okay, so Shraddha, take for parallel flow for hot water, mass flow rate is 32.55. Okay, miss 400 ml by 32.55. Right now, 32 seconds. 32 seconds. Miss 32 seconds required to fill the beaker up to 400 ml. Okay. Now next, the cold water. Okay, cold water. Cold water mass flow rate. Okay, we are checking the mass flow rate. Stop. 16 seconds required to fill the 400 ml. So 400 ml divided by 16. Okay, 400 ml is the volume, and 16 seconds required to fill that particular beaker. Okay. Then next, this is the arrangement for parallel flow heat exchanger. Now we have to make the arrangement for counter flow heat exchanger. Okay. So in that case, we'll close this particular knob on the side. Okay, then we have closed this and we have opened up this. Okay, and then next we have to close this knob, okay, and we have to open up this knob. इकडच्या ही पाईप कुठली दाखवा ना. Okay, now we have changed the arrangement for this particular pipes. Actually, now here you can see we have closed this knob and we have opened up this side. Okay, and the water, when we close this particular knob, the water will at this particular junction, it will not travel in this direction as we have closed this knob. So it will travel in this direction and then we have opened up this knob. Okay, and water will get entered at this particular location. Okay, if you open up this knob, then water will directly move from this side and it will exit from this particular pipeline. Then cold water will not enter in the heat exchanger. So that we have opened up this knob and we have closed this knob. Okay, this particular knob we have closed, and then water will travel in this particular direction. Okay, which is opposite to the hot water. Okay, which is opposite to the hot water, and it will exit from this side. So that we have opened up this particular knob. Okay, we have opened up this particular knob. So in a bigger picture, you'll get look better. Okay, but in opposite side we have opened up the knob. Okay, for the exit of that particular cold water. Okay. Now the hot water is entering from this side. The hot water direction we will not change. Okay. The hot water direction will be in this direction only, and now cold water will get. We have changed the direction of cold water, and it is moving in the opposite direction. Okay, opposite to the cold, opposite to the hot water. Okay. So in that case, for the counter flow heat exchanger, similar fashion as that of a parallel flow, we have to take first of all T1 temperature, and that will be measured over here. That will be the inlet temperature of a hot fluid, and then next T2 temperature. Once again on this side, T2 temperature. We have to take opposite side, and that will be measured over here. Then third is at this initial location, that is the cold fluid inlet temperature. We have to take the reading, that reading over here. And the last one is nothing but the T5 temperature. So that temperature we have to measure over here. Okay. So T4 in this case we have to skip. That will be the exit temperature of a cold fluid for parallel flow arrangement. But in case of a counter flow arrangement, we have to we should not consider the T4 thermocouple. We have to consider the T5 thermocouple. Okay, which is located over here. Okay, and that will measure the outlet temperature in case of a counter flow heat exchanger, as the fluid is moving from that side to this side. Okay, from that side to this side. So we have to measure the exit temperature at this location, and this is the T5 thermocouple location. Okay, so let us see what temperatures we are getting in case of a counter flow arrangement. So take the reading, Shraddha. Take the reading. T1 as 24.4. T1 as 24.4. Then T2 23.8. Okay. Then T3 once again. (22.7) inlet water temperature, 22.7. Okay, and we have to skip T4. Okay, we have to take the exit temperature of a cold fluid for T5, and it is equal to 23.3. 23.3. 23.3. Okay, then we have to check the mass flow rates for the counter flow arrangement. Okay, once you take the temperatures, 4 temperatures, we have to take the mass flow rate for the cold fluid and hot fluid. You are ready. That's right. Hot fluids होते हैं. नाही पलीकडची हीच पाईप. हां तुम्ही हातात धरले का? थांबा. How much time required to fill the 400 ml? So that will be the mass flow rate. Start. 400 reading this time तुम्हाला? Stop. Okay. 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Okay. 10 seconds. Holding is 400. पहिल्या केस मध्ये student. Okay, so 10 seconds required to fill the apparatus by hot water. Okay, 400 ml in 10 seconds. Okay, and the cold fluid mass flow rate. Start. Stop. 22 seconds. 22 seconds. Cold fluid required 22 seconds to fill 400 ml jar. Okay. Okay. So this is the complete experiment. for the counter flow and parallel flow arrangement. Okay. If you have any doubt, any question, you can ask. Is there any doubt, any question in this experimentation? Shraddha, once I want to confirm you that, have you taken all the readings? Great, great. Okay. So, everybody getting how to perform the parallel flow and counter flow heat exchanger arrangement? Okay. Then we'll stop here now and we'll go for the calculation part for the parallel flow and counter flow arrangement. Okay. We'll stop presentation for experimentation and we'll go for actual calculation part. Okay. Observation and actual calculation.
Okay, Shraddha, please let me know the readings for parallel flow arrangement. Okay, mass flow rate of a cold fluid. How
Hello, sir.
much? Yes, yes.
T1 27.3,
Okay, no, no, no. Mass flow rate of cold fluid in case of a parallel flow arrangement.
32 seconds for hot fluid and 16 seconds for cold fluid.
Okay, 16 seconds for cold fluid, right? And
And 32 for hot.
32 for hot, 400 ml. Okay, ml divided by 16 second and 32 second 400 ml. Okay, now tell me T1 value in case of a parallel flow. T1, okay, 27.3. Okay, T2, T2 25.8, 25.8. T3, 22.6. And T4, 23.3. 23.3. Okay. The next counter flow reading. Okay, please tell me the counter flow reading. Mass flow rate 400 ml. 22. Okay, cold fluid 400 ml, 22 second. Okay, and hot fluid 400 ml by 10, right? No, 10 second. Okay, then T1, tell me T1. 24.4, 23.8, 24.4, 23.8, 22.7, and last one 23.2. Okay, so these are the readings. I will merge. So these are the readings. Okay, so first of all we have to calculate the log mean temperature for parallel flow. So log mean temperature we required, log mean temperature for parallel flow. Okay, so log mean temperature for parallel flow is equal to theta 1 minus theta 2 whole divided by ln of theta 1 divided by theta 2. So in this case theta 1, which is equal to hot fluid temperature minus cold fluid inlet temperature, yani T3, right? T1 minus T3. T1 is the hot fluid inlet temperature and T3 is the cold fluid inlet temperature. So in this case, in parallel flow case, T1 is 27.3 and T3 is 22.6. 27.3 minus 22.6. Okay, and it is equal to how much? In a similar fashion, we okay 4.7. In similar fashion, theta 2 is equal to T2 minus T4. Okay, and which is equal to T2 is 25.8, 25.8, and T4 is 23.3. 23.3. How much? 2.5. Okay. So 2.5. Okay. Now we have to check the ratio theta 1 to theta. Now these two are not same. Okay. So theta 1 is different than theta 2. So it does not require the L hospital rule to apply over here. And we have to check the theta 1 to theta 2 ratio over here. So theta 1 theta 1 is 4.7 and theta 2 is 2.5. So do calculation. Please let me know whether this value is greater than 1.7 or not. Greater than. Okay, it is equal to 1.88 and it is greater than 1.7. So LMTD, we have to apply the LMTD. So LMTD, that is nothing but theta m is equal to theta 1 minus theta 2 divided by ln of theta 1 divided by theta 2. So theta 1 value is 4.7 minus theta 2 is 2.5. Theta 1 once again 4.7 divided by theta 2 2.5. Okay, calculate theta m. 3.48. Great. 3.48. Okay. 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 So theta m we have calculated. Now here we require m dot h, mass flow rate. Any of the mass flow rate for parallel flow. So rate of heat transfer for parallel flow. For parallel flow. Okay. So in that case, m dot h, we have to calculate m dot h. So m dot h we know m dot h is equal to how much we know 400 ml divided by for 10 second no 32 second. Okay, 400 divided by 32. So we have to convert it into a kg per second. Okay, we have to convert it. So for water density is 1000. Okay, or specific density is 1. So we can say that 1 liter of water is equal to 1 kg. Okay, 1 liter of water is equal to 1 kg. So for that reason, we directly convert this ml per second into liter per second, and that will be considered as a kg per second. Okay, so 400 divided by 1000 multiply by 32. Okay, 400 divided by 1000, that will be the conversion of ml into liter, milliliter into liter, multiply by 32. Please calculate m dot h. 0.0125. 0.0125. Okay, and that will be kg per second. Okay, so m dot h, cph value, how much for the water? 4.187 joule per kg Kelvin. cph, cp for water, water is equal to, okay, 4.187 kilojoule. Okay, kilojoule per kg Kelvin. Okay, so we have to take it as joule per kg Kelvin, that is nothing but 4187. Okay, then calculate, now calculate q. Okay, all the values you know, now calculate q. M dot h 0.1 no 0.0125 multiply by, I will directly take 4187 cp value for water multiply by th1 for the parallel flow. T1 is the TH1 for the parallel, 27.3. Okay, 27.3, and TH2 is the T2 is the TH2, 25.8. 25.8. Okay, do calculation and calculate Q. Okay, calculate 78.50. Okay, that will be watt. 78.50. Great. 78.50. Okay, that will be watt. Okay, this is for parallel flow. Q for parallel flow. And now calculate overall heat transfer coefficient. U is equal to Q divided by A. So for that reason you required area, pi dl. Okay, area for the tube, surface area for the tube. Consider pi dl. So in that case you have the values of L and Q, L and D. Okay, so tube diameter is 12 mm. Okay, and length of tube is 1 meter. Okay, so consider the diameter in meter. Okay, 12 mm multiplied by 10 raised to minus 3, and then do the calculation for area. Multiplied by 10 to the power minus 3. Okay, multiply by 1. Okay, and theta m, how much you have calculated? Theta m 3.48. 3.48. Do calculation. Let me know U value, overall heat transfer coefficient for parallel flow. 598.35. Okay, 598.35 watt per meter square Kelvin or degree Celsius. Both the values are same in Kelvin and degree Celsius. Okay, Kelvin I will write here, or degree Celsius. You can take degree Celsius or Kelvin, no issue. Okay, so similarly we have to go for log mean temperature. Now I will give heading here as calculation. Okay, for parallel flow we have to go for log mean temperature difference for counter flow. Okay, now we have to consider the readings of counter flow only. So in that case, theta 1 will be considered as T1 minus T5. Right now, inlet temperature of a hot fluid minus outlet temperature of cold fluid. Okay, and T2 minus T3 will be considered as theta 2 in case of a counter flow heat exchanger. Okay, so once again, चलेगा कॉपी कर दो, थोड़ा कॉपी करो. Okay. Okay, so T1 minus T5. Okay, inlet temperature of a hot fluid minus outlet temperature of a cold fluid. So values. So T1 is in this case 24.4 and T5 is 23.2. 24.4 honey, 23.2. Okay, how much it is? Okay, okay, then T2 minus T3. Okay, 1.2. 1.2. T2 minus T3. So T2 is, in case of a counter flow, 23.8, 23.2. Yeah, 23.8 and 22.7. 23.8. 22.7. Okay, it will be 1.1. Okay, so once again check this particular ratio theta 1 to theta 2 whether it is greater than 1.7 or less than 1.7. 1.2 divided by 1.1. Okay, now how much it is? 1 point. Okay, 1.09. Okay, which is less than 1.7. So we have to go for AMTD. AMTD. That is nothing but arithmetic mean temperature difference. So in that case, we should not use this particular equation. We have to go for average of theta 1 and theta 2. Okay, average of theta 1 and theta 2 divided by 2. Theta 1 plus theta 2 divided by 2, which is equal to 1.2 plus 1.1 divided by 2. How much it is? Okay, it is equal to 1.15. Okay, theta m is equal to 1.15. So this will be deleted. Okay, then logarithmic mean temperature we have calculated. Then next, rate of heat transfer. Rate of heat transfer for counterflow. So MH, mass flow rate for hot fluid for counterflow is 400 ml divided by 10. 10. Okay, and here also 10. How much it is equal to? 0.4. Okay, 0.04. Great. Then Cp same value. Then put up Q is equal to m dot h Cph multiplied by Th1 minus Th2. So 0.04 multiplied by 4187 multiplied by Th1. Th1 in this case 24.4 and Th2 23.8. 24.4, 23.8. 24.4, 23.8. Now calculate Q for counterflow heat exchanger. 100.48. Okay. For the same arrangement only, we are getting the greater heat exchanger in case of a counterflow arrangement. So that the counterflow heat exchanger provides maximum heat transfer rate for the same surface area. Okay. So just we have proved that. 78. Okay, so now Q we have calculated. The last part is for the counterflow parallel. U, calculation of U. Overall heat transfer coefficient. So Q is Q divided by A multiplied by theta M. So Q is 100.48 divided by pi multiplied by 12 multiplied by 10 raised to minus 3 multiplied by 1 multiplied by theta m. How much we have calculated? 1.15. 1.15. Okay, do calculation. Let me know the U value, overall heat transfer coefficient value in this case. 2317.66. 2317.66. Great. Great. Okay. So in this manner, we have calculated, and the final results you have to write. Okay, I will check results. How to write the results? Critical heat plus parallel flow. Okay. Okay, results should be in a such a manner that results for parallel flow arrangement. Okay, all three values. First one is LMTD is equal to LMTD, then which is equal to, put up that particular value. Second, heat transfer rate, and third, overall heat transfer coefficient. Overall heat transfer coefficient, which is equal to. Okay, so these three results you required for the parallel flow, and similarly for the counter flow. Okay, for counter flow, what are the values we are calculated? Just that values we required in the result format. Okay. Okay, so that will be your final answers. So I will put up here U value is for counter flow. Overall heat transfer coefficient is 2317. Then Q is equal to 100.48. That I will put up here for counter flow. It is equal to 100, and LMTD 1.15 degrees Celsius. Okay, so unit is degree Celsius. Once again. Okay, so here I will put up the unit as degree Celsius. Okay, then similarly, U for counter flow. U for counter flow is 598. 598.35. Heat transfer rate 598. Heat transfer rate 78.50. 7 control there. And LMTD 3.48. 3.48 degrees Celsius. Okay. So you have to write these results. Okay, and that's it about this particular parallel flow and counter flow arrangement heat exchangers. Okay, I hope that everyone understood how to perform the experiment and how to perform the calculations for parallel and counter flow arrangement. Okay, here you can also do the calculation for the effectiveness in case of a parallel flow arrangement, and effectiveness for the counter flow arrangement. Okay, by using the effectiveness formulas. Okay, if you perform that, then you have understood this particular chapter completely, because both two things are important only in this heat exchanger. That is nothing but you should know how to calculate the logarithmic mean temperature difference if all the temperature conditions are known, and you know the number of transfer unit, effectiveness number of transfer unit method to determine the unknown conditions for the temperatures. If any of the temperature is missing, or any two temperatures are missing in the given data, in the problem statement, then you have to go for the number of transfer unit, that is nothing but ENTU methodology to calculate that unknown conditions, and then you have to move ahead for the calculation of further things. Okay, so I hope that in this particular experimentation you have I have cleared uh, your doubts about LMTD, logarithmic mean temperature difference method, uh, and its application for the calculation of overall heat transfer coefficient, logarithmic mean temperature difference, and heat transfer rate. Okay. Also, I proved through this experimentation that for the same arrangement, parallel heat exchanger gives you less heat transfer rate as per compared to the counter flow heat exchanger. Okay, that also we have proved through this experimentation part. Okay, if you have any doubt, any question, you can ask now only. Okay, is there any doubt, any question? Okay, so I will share this particular file, and this you have to write whatever in this particular file. You can write that much only for the experiment number 4, and you can submit to your respective teachers. For A division to me, and for B division to Shashikant Jadhav sir. I have not shared yet the submission forms. After completion of this experimentation, I will share the complete miss you have to submit the complete experiments in one PDF file. Okay, so we'll stop here. I think I have consumed more time. You can put up your roll numbers in the chat box and you can leave. Remaining students, please put up your roll numbers in the chat box and you can leave this meeting. I will stop the recording, and afterward, if you put up the roll number, then it will not be recorded.